What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back with another fantasy football video. It's Monday, so you know what time it is. Mock Draft Monday. We got about 4.5 minutes till this one starts. This was a requested mock draft to do middle draft pick. So just kind of hopefully talking about the strategy involved when maybe you're like a 10 or 12 pick. There's a different strategy for when you're like a 5, 6, 7 pick. So I picked it right in the middle, 12-team PPR league. We're doing fantasy football calculator. So I'm going to talk about how there probably will be points you might have to reach on a player. There could be points where you have to employ basically what I do in my middle pick is just value based. So I'm not looking right in like wide receiver 0, running back 0. Like I'm not looking to do that. I'm looking every single round. I just want the best value because you can't load up at the end of like the first round. So like maybe you're the 12 pick, you can load up like wide receiver, running back. You can't really like load up at a position in the middle rounds or in the middle of the round draft pick. So I'll be talking about that as it goes on. Few things we need to say before this one starts up. Pro Football Focus, we finally got the discount codes, so look in the description down below. It's 12.5% off of Edge and then 10% off of Elite. We worked really hard to get that discount codes for you guys, and if you don't take advantage of them before the start of August, it's going to go away. So this isn't something we can extend throughout August, throughout October and everything. Like, you guys gotta get this if we want to keep it going. So get the look in the description down below. Get yourself Pro Football Focus membership. Also the rankings. You guys have been asking for that. Wednesday, so this is Mock Draft Monday. Wednesday will be the tight end rankings I'll release on the channel, and then every week after that, every Wednesday, we'll release a new ranking. So the next week will be quarterback. Then I think I'm going to do running back and then wide receiver. So in 2 Wednesdays, it'll be the running back episode, and then the 3 Wednesdays will be the wide receiver episode. So those will be long videos. So if you guys have players that I haven't really talked about much, I'm going to talk about every player in our top 65 for running back and wide receiver, and I think it's like top 25 for quarterback and tight end. So you get all my thoughts on those players. If you want the premium rankings, again, you can go to the website and just download our general rankings. You can just go in the description down below, thefantasyfootballadvice.com. Literally just download to your computer in a second, 100% free for our normal rankings, and that's just going to give you like the player, what round we think they should be in, and then like I guess what they are for the position. So like if he's like the 17th wide receiver they have, is a column for that. And that's really easy. Like you do it, just click the link and it downloads right to your computer, and then you guys can change it. It downloads to Excel. So if you want to change up my rankings for yours, you can do that. But if you want the premium rankings that have just so much more information, like a player write-up for everyone, injury rating, their injury risk, our projections, all of that stuff into one Excel format with the tiered rankings, then just join, be a member of the website. You also get access to the private Facebook group. We've cut it off now. There's 301 of us in there, and there's questions all the time. Ton of people replying to all your mock drafts, all your comments, because it's a little different than like the comment section. You ask a question and just I answer it. Whereas if you're in the Facebook group, you're getting like 20 people to have a conversation about different players. So you're getting more of a perspective. So become a premium member of the website. It's $20 for the entire year. If you want to wait, we are going to lower the price once the regular season starts, but then you're not going to have access to the premium rankings, which I think are fantastic. I mean, we've put probably like 100 hours in these things, and they're still not done. But the tight ends are basically done. They're going to be done for the video, and then we're going to be trying to release them this week. At least the first version of the premium rankings. But this video is about to start. That was there's one more thing. That wide receiver video. You know, you guys like the top 5 running backs, how to predict those. That'll be out on Thursday. I just finished that up. Took a really long time to make that one. That one was probably a few hours longer than the previous one, but it's a good one. So definitely watch the video on Thursday because it's a good one. But this video, it's full. Nice. Sometimes we do these mock drafts and it doesn't fill up, but nice, we're full. And I know I hid the players this time. I didn't know that was a button, so you guys got me in the comment section. Tell me to hide the players, but I got it. Need some water. All right. So 6th pick. The strategy with that is just take whoever it is in the big 3 wide receivers that's gonna be left. Interesting right now how to see where Zeke goes. I don't know if anyone or if everyone knows Zeke is expecting a small suspension. I would say that 2 games max, but I'm expecting a 1-game suspension, which for me Doesn't really change his ranking in standard. In PPR, I can see him going behind Antonio and then maybe behind Julio Odell, but I'd still probably take him over those two. So probably only move him down 1 in PPR. But interesting to see who this guy takes here. I think in a PPR league, though, you have to take Brown if Zeke is expecting a suspension, just because Brown is just so safe PPR league. We'll see. If he comes off at 6, like, we're taking him. So for you guys who are doing the drafts right now, I'm drafting Ezekiel Elliott 4 in PPR. In 3, I'm still taking him in standard, I'm still taking him at 3. So we'll see what these guys do. It's PPR, so then I'd have Julio slightly ahead of Odell. But again, this 6 spot is a really nice spot because you're guaranteed one of the big 6. You're guaranteed a top 3 running back or a top 3 receiver. It's a guarantee because of how many spots there are. 7 kind of stinks when all those guys go, because then I think the next range, everyone's so close that they're all kind of the same pick. You know, you can make a case for like 5 people at the number 7 spot, and I would be like, yeah, I mean, you could take any of them at 5 or at 7. So it's a tough spot at 7, but it's a really nice spot if someone falls to you. Like if you can get like an Odell or you can get someone in that top 6 to fall to you, then you're looking good. Well, let's see who this guy takes. I will take Zeke. There he goes. So, you know what we're doing here. We're just going to take Odell at 6. Oh, yeah, click him. All right. So the next pick, again, we're not like looking to go wide receiver 0. We're not looking to go running back 0. We're just seeing how the value comes to us, and we're looking into the future as well. We're saying, I'm not going to have a pick for another 12 picks. Is there a need on my team that can be addressed right now that can't be addressed in the next round? Which you really have to think about when you're at like the 11, 12 picks, because then it's like, oh, I have like 20 picks until mine. I have to take someone. But here you can, a little bit more risk you can take. You can try and see if people will fall to you, because it's not as many picks all the time. But who would we be targeting? That would be like the 18th or so pick. Jordy's not going to be there. So Michael Thomas, Amari Cooper, Doug Baldwin for wide receivers, TY. Any of the 5 running backs that are still on the board. So Melvin, Freeman, Ajayi, DeMarco, Howard. Then I see a drop-off, targeting those guys at our next pick. So after me, it was Mike Evans, McCoy, AJ Green, Devonta Freeman. So Melvin Gordon's falling a little bit. You guys remember, I don't like Melvin Gordon, but that's because he's been creeping up into that like 7-8 pick. And that's a no-go for me. But if you want to take Melvin Gordon here, like 12, 13, 14, 15, that's where you can take Melvin Gordon. So right now, it's not a reach. But for people who are talking about him in like the 6, 7, 8 range, that's a reach. So taking him at 12, that's fine. You can do that. And this is PPR. I've probably mentioned that before. I don't always mention it. And we're assuming, again, they don't show you your rosters, but we're assuming, obviously, 4-point passing, but 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, 2 running back, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. And then, whatever, 6 bench spots, something like that. Just a standard league. Todd Gurley is a reach at 12, absolutely. So when, after Melvin, it was Todd Gurley, then DeMarco. I would have taken Ajayi ahead of both of them. And honestly, I'd take Ajayi over Melvin Gordon. So Michael Thomas, then Ajayi. So we've got 2 more picks. We'll take Jordan Howard. But I'd probably take a wide receiver, just because this is a PPR league. I would have rather had TY. We'll see. I might take Howard. Okay, Howard just got taken. So running backs, we're gonna wait because I don't want to take Lynch this early. Definitely not Fournette or Miller. Crowell I love, but he's more of a 3rd-round pick. So we're just looking at wide receivers. Gronk's still on the board, but I'd do that in the 3rd round as well. So for me, the best wide receiver available is Doug Martin and Amari Cooper. Or Doug Baldwin and Amari Cooper. Doug Martin. Just because Dez has a tough schedule and he's more of a standard pick. So I'm going to take Doug Baldwin. I really like Amari Cooper. And again, watch the video on Thursday to get my thoughts on both of those players. But I think Doug Baldwin's just so safe that I can't pass him up because I love both of those guys, and I am gonna think about that ranking because they are right next to each other, but I just don't think you can pass up Doug Baldwin as your wide receiver too. I mean, he's just so safe. He's got so much upside that I really like him. But I would be fine with Dez. I'd be fine with Amari at that pick. Definitely not Lamar Miller, who just went. You guys know I can't stand the Lamar Miller pick. He's a 4th or 5th round pick, in my opinion. We will take Kelsey. Will we? Anywhere in the 4th. That's what I've been saying. Anywhere in the 4th. So maybe that might be a little early, mid-3rd. But you guys have heard me say before, I love Kelsey. If I'm not getting Kelsey, it's Kyle Rudolph, Bennett, Walker I'll take. But it's really Kyle Rudolph who I'm targeting. And then if I don't get him, I'm taking a late round guy. Too early on Rodgers. Rodgers is a late 3rd round pick. Des Bryant, that's good value. That's good value in Amari. So we're targeting for running backs. We want Crowell. I will take Crowell with this next pick. I'll take Lynch with this next pick. Mixon could be a reach. That might be a little too much risk for this team at that point. Wide receivers. Not in love with any of the value. No real value right now. So we really want Crowell with this next pick. I'm not sure what I'm going to do if I don't get him because I don't like the wide receivers right now. Like, I like them, but it's a little bit early for those guys. Like, Cooks will probably finish in a position where you say, oh, he was worth a 3rd round pick, but it's going to be because he has weeks where he has 152 touchdowns. Because read the Pro Football Focus article on Brandon Cooks, and it's insane the splits he has on slow corners versus fast corners. It's unreal. Hold on. We're going to take Crowell here. I miss my pick sometimes talking, so we're going to take Crowell. Pretty much like the last guy before drop. But against slow corners, and I believe that's based on their 40 times, so it's not like 100% accurate, but based on 40 times, slow corners, he's one of the best ever. But against fast corners, he's kind of mediocre. So if you guys play daily, keep in mind, if you have Pro Football Focus, the membership, they're going to have wide receiver cornerback matchups, shadow coverage matchups, and you're going to be able to see, oh, he's got super fast corners on him this week. Maybe that's a fade. In season long, I'm not sure you'd be able to fade him with where you're taking him. But if he's got a slow corner on him, or they've got really slow linebackers that maybe Belichick is going to have him matched up against, because you know Belichick is going to take advantage of these things. He's going to have huge weeks. It's just that he's going to have weeks where he has 2 for 20, which is not really what I want in my 3rd round pick. So I'd rather have the stability I think I'm getting with Crowell, and that allows me to maybe not take a running back with this next pick, because remember, we're in the middle. So I don't want to lock myself into a box and say, okay, I just took 4 wide receivers. I need a running back, and now I'm forced to reach on someone. It's just, I want to take value, and I think Crowell is the best value pick. Has Kelsey gone? Kelsey went. Okay. Yeah, he just went. I have Kelsey ranked ahead of Jordan Reed, if that gives you a sense of how much I like Travis Kelce this year. But we're targeting Rudolph now. We'll take Delaney if he falls to us. We'll take Henry if he falls a little bit. Take Olsen if he falls a little bit. But we're not touching Reed. Graham is just like, okay. Like, I'm fine if you guys take Graham. He's just not someone I'm really targeting, whereas I'm targeting those other guys. Running backs left on the board. I'll take Joe Mixon. Ty Montgomery's not bad in a PPR league, but I'd rather have him like the 5th or 6th round, not the 4th round. Too early for Doug. Too early for AP. Anyone else? Yeah, it's just Joe Mixon with this next pick. You could do McCaffrey, but I don't really want to target McCaffrey in drafts. Allen Robinson. Jarvis Landry, I still want to know about his contract. Like, that just scares me that they're talking up Devonta Parker, and he hasn't gotten a contract yet, contract extension. Like, you would think, looking at his numbers and watching him play, that he's a really good slot receiver and that he's very valuable to their team, but I don't know why they're not giving him the contract. And he said that he's not going to sign a contract during the year. I believe he said that. So it concerns me. a little bit when drafting him. He just went in the 3rd round. Like, 4th round's fine. Like, I'd have taken him at that next pick, but I don't know. It scares me a little bit. I still really like him, but too early for Tyreek. Keenan Allen, just so much risk. I just don't want to do that. Crowder looks like he's climbing in drafts. Snead's climbing in drafts. Okay. You guys know I love Crowder, Snead, Diggs. Love Garcon. Macklin's really climbing, but I like him. Parker's, wow. That's a lot. He's climbed a lot too. Joe Mixon just went. Okay. So, I don't want any of those running backs. So I'm not going to do a running back. I'm probably not going to do a tight end, but we'll see. Definitely not doing a quarterback. I would have done Rodgers. 4th round's where I would take Rodgers, but he's not going to be there. Not taking Martavis. Not taking Tyreek. I'll take Golden Tate. I have Golden Tate the highest out of anyone left on this list. It's a little too early for Crowder. I really like him, but it's 5th, 6th, 7th. If you want to try and grab your Diggs Crowder Snead combo, but I got Tate the highest here. Especially in PPR. If it was standard, maybe Martavis. Not 4th round though, but maybe ahead of these guys. But it probably would have been Crabtree in a standard scoring league. But I really like Golden Tate. So he's a good addition. Now we've filled up 2 wide receivers and a flex. So if we do take another wide receiver, it is filling up our bench, which I'm fine with if the value's there. Because remember, you're going to be starting him week 6, week 7, week 8, during injuries, during tough matchups. Like, don't think that you're drafting your bench guy and you're never going to play him because he's your bench guy. In all likelihood, one of these 3 picks is going to bust. I mean, people love their picks coming out of the draft, but in all likelihood, of your first 5 picks, you're dropping 2 of them probably, or should have dropped, and you're keeping them on your bench because they were a high pick. So don't think you can't start picking your bench. I picked 5 wide receivers in the first 5 rounds plenty times last year, and I made the playoffs in 6 of 7 leagues, handily. So even when wide receivers bust, honestly, it is safe to draft a bunch of wide receivers early and then just fill in the running back spot. Unless you're confident. And remember, I'm confident about Bell, DJ, Zeke, McCoy, Freeman, Howard, Ajayi, Crowell, Mixon, I guess in the 4th. But I'm confident on those guys where I'm okay taking them. But other than that, I feel like there's a lot of risk with some of these players that I'd rather just take the wide receiver if it's really close. So I'd take Crabtree, absolutely. That would be great value in the 5th round. Although, if you watch the video Thursday, get more of my thoughts on this. I do think the gap is going to grow this year between Amari Cooper and Crabtree. He just went. But I'm still fine taking both of them. Not on the same team. Don't take Crabtree and Cooper on the same team. But I'm fine with both of them because they're just good picks. And that's too early for Doug Martin as well. He was going there last year when he wasn't suspended for 3 games. Like, I don't get it. But tight ends, we can think about Greg Olsen in this spot. He's Mr. Consistent, plays every single game. He's getting you points. You can trust him. I'll think about it. I'll take Crowder, Snead, Diggs. I'd probably take Diggs first. Diggs, because you guys know it's Diggs, Crowder, Snead. That's the order. So I'd probably take Diggs with the next pick. Running backs, still not crazy because I like a lot of these guys in this list. I have like the same. Like they're within, 10-point projections of each other that if there's a 2-round difference, like I'm just going to take the value. So I don't think I'm going to take a running back here because there just isn't one. Abdullah, Powell, Gillislee, Coleman, Cook, Perkins, Ingram, Lacey, P. Ryan, but none of those guys I really want this early because they're all the same. I think I can get some of them later. So I'm going to wait. I'll take Crowder, Diggs, Snead. Yeah, that's it because I'm not taking Macklin or Garcon. I'd have to wait another round for them. All right, well, I'll get one of those guys. I would have taken Larry ahead of them, actually. I didn't see his name. But Edelman, I think, has a drop-off this year just because of production. I think the production can't, or the volume, there just isn't enough to go around with all these people. And, like, I'm a Patriots fan, but I rarely draft Patriots players. A, because I do hometown leagues, and they always get taken early. Like Gronk got taken second overall last year. Brady usually goes first or second round. Like, you just can't do that in our hometown leagues. But, like, you look at the weapons. Brady's safe. But you look at the weapons. I mean, when's it going to be an Edelman week? When's it going to be a Malcolm Mitchell week? When's it going to be a Hogan week? When's it going to be a Cooks week? When's it going to be a Gronk week? You don't know. They're good. All of them are going to have their weeks where they have, 102 touchdowns. But you don't know when they're coming. And it's just the instability. And I think Edelman was, second or third in the league in drops last year? I don't know. I saw a drop-off in production from Edelman last year. And if we're bringing in Cooks and Gillislee and Burkhead, I don't know. I don't know, man. I can't do it. I have him dropped pretty far in my rankings. I think he's around 30 for wide receivers. Something around there. I don't really know. I'm interested to see how my team would have come out with Olsen, but if this was my draft, I'm just waiting for Rudolph at this point. Like, Olsen's a fine pick in the 4th. If you are in the 5th, I think it's Kelsey late 3rd, early 4th. I think it's Olsen in the 5th. That's where I'm taking those guys. I'm not drafting Gronk unless it's the 3rd round. I'm not drafting Reed unless it's like the 5th round probably. AP, there was a good article on Roto World, I believe it was, on AP. I think that was the site, basically saying he's Adrian Peterson. If you watch his workouts that he's been doing, he's still Adrian Peterson. He's going to be a monster, but don't expect him to be running to the ground. Expect around 150 carries, maybe 175 touches, which in the 5th round is fine, but that's more of a 6th or 7th round for me. I'd take Gillislee over him. I mean, I don't know. Plus, with like Alvin Kamara in town, with Ingram still there, like the touches or the receptions, I don't know. I can't do it. I'm not taking Danny Woodhead in the 5th round. Absolutely not. Carlos Hyde was good value there in the 5th round. PPR, he takes a hit because he can't catch. But Crowder's slipping somehow. And even though he'd be my 5th wide receiver, I would take Crowder with this next pick. And there goes Crowder. I'd also take Snead. If Snead went too. Dang it. I'd take Bilal Powell. Perkins, Ingram, Coleman. Other guys might be a reach. So I'd take Bilal Powell. Bilal Powell's slipping, I feel like. Maybe he's not. But wasn't he going in like the 4th round? Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he wasn't. But that's good value just because it's going to be dump city. I mean, they're going to be so bad and catching up in so many games that there's going to be a lot of 4th quarters where he has 3 receptions. And you're like, oh, that's not that good. Okay, the 4th quarter, if he has 3 for 30, that's 6 points in the 4th quarter. And you guys got to realize that 5 dump-offs is like 10 points in PPR. And that's very valuable. So don't think he's young. He's like 29, 30. But I have him ahead of everyone else on this list. Although, I will say, he's not a safe pick. So don't expect me to just draft like tight ends and quarterbacks and wide receivers and be like, oh, I'm good with Crowell and Powell. Like, no. I definitely would like to target a running back with this next pick. I'd like to target Paul Perkins. Ingram. Okay, there goes Paul. Ingram, if you guys watched the how to find a breakout running back or how to predict the top 5 running back video. Ingram, did he make the list? I can't remember. I think he made the list or made the honorable mention for the list. But all the stats, and if you get the Pro Football Focus, a huge stat that I look at is the difference between yards before contact and yards after contact. Huge. Like, before contact is O-line. That's an offensive line stat. So if you're looking at a running back and you're saying 4 yards to carry, oh, he's not that good. That doesn't tell you everything. What you need to look at is people's yards before contact and yards after contact. Because if he has 1 yard before contact and then, 4 yards after contact, I know that's like a stretch. But if he has that, like, he's a really good running back. His line just blows. And Ingram was, I believe, among the league leaders in yards after contact. It was Crowell and it was Ajayi, I believe, were up there. I don't exactly remember. I can look it up on my picks coming up here. They got taken. And see, this is what I'm scared of, is this range. Right here. And Derrick Henry, that feels like a reach too. So I like Lacy. I think there's touches to go around where you can draft Lacy and Procise again, not in the same league, but I like the value on both those guys because I think they use Procise a lot more out of the backfield. But he takes a hit in PPR because, again, Procise is there. And Procise, I think Procise is a better running back than Lacy. He's really good, but they're not just going to give Procise, 200 carries. Like, that's not CJ Procise. I think Lacy can get 200 carries, which is why in the 7th round, I will take that. I will take a guy who's going to get the goal line, going to get 200 carries or 200 touches. It's tough to say. It's tough to say, but not a good offensive line, so I'm not like crazy about the pick. But I would definitely take Lacy here because Henry's tough. You guys know my feelings on Frank Gore. It's a reach on Theo. It's at this point it might be a reach on Pirine just because we don't know 100%. Like, my feelings that I believe Pirine's the best running back on that team, that I think he's going to get the goal line work, and I think he's going to be first and second down. But I'm not the coach, so I can't know that for sure. But I would take Pirine in the next round. But I think Lacy was a solid pick because if Powell disappoints, I think Lacy will be serviceable as a 2. I think he's a serviceable 2, and I think Crowell can be a 1 for me. And when I have Odell, Doug, Tate, and Diggs, I feel really safe with that. I am going to get another wide receiver in one of the next 2 rounds. I'm probably going to get another running back, another wide receiver, unless I see value at tight end. Like, unless Delaney falls to me. But if not, again, I'm going to grab Rudolph and Henry. So looking back at what we've done with this middle pick, again, it's about value. It's about not reaching on players. But I think it's also about building a consistent team. Like, we are not a consistent, like, I don't like filling up my roster. So, like, I don't like saying, okay, I'm fill up the roster and then fill up the bench. Like, I got to take a quarterback, now I have to take a tight end. I don't really like drafting like that. I just like building, 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers. Like, I just like building safety at both of those positions. And then I can stream quarterback. I can stream tight end. I can stream defense. Like, I can just stream those positions and maybe hit on, because every year, there's a top 5 quarterback that's undrafted every single year. So, oh, wow, Rudolph went in the 7th or 8th. That's, darn. I would have taken him. Okay, so now the tight ends are going, so we got to think about that. I like Hooper late. Fleener's fine. Ebron's fine. Ertz is fine. But Hunter Henry's who I have the highest out of these guys. And I don't like the value there, though. Alright, so my pick. So, Pirine, Duke, Mac. Yeah, not a lot of options there. Wow. There's some good options at wide receiver. Really, really like the Garcon and Parker there. 22 seconds. I'm not sure you can pass up the value of Pierre Garcon right now. I'm really not sure you can do that. Like, Pierre Garcon's a great pick at this point. So I'm going to take him. I know I just took my 5th wide receiver, but 8th round for Pierre Garcon is a steal, in my opinion. So, if I look at a team, like, let's look at some other teams. So, one guy's got Allen Robinson, Alshon, and Kelvin Benjamin. Like, I don't think Kelvin Benjamin's that good. There's a world where Allen Robinson still blows and Alshon gets hurt. Maybe I can make a trade for a Todd Gurley on his team. Like, he doesn't have that good of a team to people I want to trade for, but I'm not saying, like, Garcon for Gurley, but if I can package, like, a Lacy Garcon for Gurley or something for Melvin Gordon, like, you got to think also, I'm taking these guys away from other players. I just took him away from the guy who has Julio Jones and Larry Fitzgerald and then nothing. He's got Dixon, Frank Gore, Lamar Miller, like Jordan Reed. He's going to need help at some point in this league. So, you got to think about trading too. Because I am a very big advocate for making deals, looking at other people's rosters, and just taking advantage of weaknesses in people's drafting styles. But I don't really want to draft a 6th wide receiver here. So I'm going to look for the running backs. And it's Pirine. definitely is the next pick. I don't even see someone else I really want to take. So if it's not him, we can look at the Cousins, Winston, Rivers kind of section here, or we take Hunter Henry. Kind of just get these guys on the watch list. So I basically am getting one of these. P. Ryan went. So I think Hunter Henry would be the pick here. If I don't get him, it's probably Cousins. You guys know I like waiting on quarterback, but I really like Kirk Cousins, and I don't think 9th round is like a reach on any quarterback. Besides, I mean, like a late quarterback, obviously a reach on some guys, but I think we can take a quarterback here. So it's Hunter Henry or Cousins, but I'll prefer Hunter Henry. And then if I don't get Cousins or Winston, you guys saw the video I already released top 5. I mean, I'm taking Rivers. I'll take Dalton Lade. I'll take Tyrod. Like, I'll take all those guys. But Hunter Henry, I think that's a good pick. Again, watch the tight end video to get my full thoughts on him. But I think next year is the year he takes that step into like the elite tight ends potentially. And he's going to regress. He had, what, 8 touchdowns on like 30-something catches. He's going to regress in the touchdown department. But I do think they're going to use him ahead of Gates. Maybe not in the red zone, but again, they were using Gates in the red zone last year and he still had 8 touchdowns. So I think Hunter Henry's a good pick. That he's going to get you points, but I really prefer Kyle Rudolph and Walker ahead of him. So it would have been a lot nicer if one of them had fallen to me. Cousins just went, so I'll take Winston with this next pick. If not, I'm waiting probably another round or 2. I would say Duke, but I already have Crowell, and you guys know I don't like taking handcuffs. Although Duke's not a handcuff, he's going to have 50, 60 catches. Just got taken. Marlon Mack, I guess. Alvin Kamara. Yeah, there's really no one else. So I have to grab one of them. Feels early for Marlon Mack though, so is there a wide receiver? And Nunwa, no. He had like a 25% drop rate or something stupid last year. Thielen's not a bad pick. Oh, no, it's Tyrell Williams here. Or Jordan Matthews. Or Rashad Matthews. Or Doxson. There's some guys. But, again, for like the 9th time, watch the video on Thursday for the thoughts on Tyrell Williams. Stud. I think he's a stud. And I'm not overly concerned about Mike Williams. Was his 7th overall draft pick this year. He's already hurt. He's not going to have time to develop with Rivers. He's a rookie anyways. And look at the list of comparisons. Rookie year comparisons to Tyrell Williams. It's monstrous. So I think he's a great pick here. And then we absolutely need a running back because we have now 6 wide receivers. 6 stud wide receivers. In my opinion, this wide receiver core for PPR, Odell, Doug Baldwin, Golden Tate, Diggs, Garcon, Tyrell. I'm super confident in all of them. So I'm going to be stacked at wide receiver this year for this team. But running backs I feel safe with, like Crowell, Powell, Lacey. I feel good about that, but I absolutely need 2 more running backs. So it's Marlon Mack and it's Alvin Kamara right now. In a standard league, it's not those guys. Well, it's still Mack in standard, but Alvin Kamara is tough in standard. But I really do think Alvin Kamara is like a perfectly fine pick. In a 10-team league, it might be a reach a little bit. But listen, they drafted him to be the next Darren Sproles. And you guys saw Darren Sproles was a worthy flex option when he was in St. Louis. They're going to be throwing the ball. They love to throw the ball. So I like that offense. I like everyone in that offense. I'm not drafting Breeze because of the value, but I love Michael Thomas in the 2nd round. I love Diggs. I love Snead in those like middle rounds. I like taking Ingram. AP's a little early, but then I like taking Alvin Kamara, so I like that offense. Let's just get him up there. Whoops. Jonathan Williams actually isn't a bad pick We've seen the backup role in Buffalo be productive. So he's not a bad pick at all. And I think people are also sleeping on Jordan Matthews. Like his role hasn't changed with the addition of Alshon and the addition of Torrey Smith. And I don't think Torrey Smith's all that good. So I don't see an issue. And I don't see an issue with drafting Thielen either. He was one of the higher rated. I think he was like top 4. I shouldn't even say this, but I think he was like top 4 Pro Football Focus rated wide receivers last year. That may be completely false. I should probably look that up. But we'll take Mac here. And then we're just going to take a late quarterback. Because I need to lock up these 2 PPR guys for running back. I cannot. Yeah, because I didn't see anyone else really that I was comfortable with. So I got to lock these 2 up. Burkhead, I guess. Chris Thompson, I guess. Jeremy McNichols is a stretch in a 12-team league, but he's got upside technically. Steven Jackson still plays for a team? I don't think he does. There's no way he does. How many? 15 rounds. I'm not sure this is going to force me to take a defense or a kicker. It's close. We're in that range of the quarterbacks where I started to sweat a little bit. But again, I love Tyrod, I believe is, what is he ranked? Like 13th or 14th for quarterbacks for me. Do I take him here? What do people have? He's going. He's got 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1. Everyone has a quarterback or 2. Oh, I should probably take him. I should probably take Tyrod just to be safe. Like, I don't think these people are drafting their 3rd, but could the guy that drafted Drew Brees take him? Yeah, or Aaron Rodgers. So that would be a concern if Eli and Tyrod went, and I was stuck with it's not even stuck with I think these guys are fine. If I was stuck in that range, Bortles is not ideal because they're gonna run the ball a lot, but Tannehill's not terrible. Flacco's not terrible. Bradford's not the worst pick in the world. He's just not a good one. Alex Smith isn't the worst pick in the world. He's just not a good one. Then it's awful. Hoyer, I guess to start the year won't be terrible. I might actually play him in DFS depending on his price. Oh, thank God. But we got Alvin Kamara. So we got our satellite backs. Technically, ESPN would force you to take a defense kicker here in these next 2, but I don't believe this site will. So if you are on a site that doesn't force you to take defense kicker, remember, we're taking shots. And we can take shots on any position. It's preferable to take shots at running back just because it's so hard to hit. You might as well just take a bunch of shots late, especially since you're going to have to drop 2 people. Excuse me. You're going to have to drop 2 people using the strategy anyways, so you're not going to have as much clarity at the wide receiver position as running backs. Maybe someone goes down and you got someone. So we would look to take Jonathan Williams. Maybe McCoy goes down in preseason. Jonathan Williams is now a 5th round pick. But if he doesn't, then maybe I just drop Jonathan Williams when I have to pick up a defense kicker. These are the guys I want to draft in the super late rounds because it's not going to be difficult to drop them. Like DeAndre Washington, Donta Foreman, Booker, to an extent. Jalen Richard was Pro Football Focus's most elusive running back, I believe. I think he a 90 or 91% or 91 rating elusiveness last year. And he was he made the list for my top 5 running backs. Had a pretty top 5 running back. Is he going to be top 5 running back? Probably not. But he made the honorable mention list when I expanded it because of how good that offensive line is, how elusive he was, how productive he was. He had the reception bases. He's not a bad pick late. Him and DeAndre Washington were both on the list. Who would I take if I had to pick one? I don't know. That's really tough, actually. If I had to pick Jalen Richard or DeAndre Washington, who do I pick? I think DeAndre Washington because I think he has the most chance if Lynch goes down to take over the every down, not every down work, but take down the early work. And I don't think Jalen Richard's role will change as much. Jalen Richard's going to be that third down guy, not Lynch. Lynch is not going to be a third down guy. He's going to be goal line and first and second down. So I think they just moved DeAndre Washington into that early down work. But you can make a case for both, and I'll think about that. But that's the end of this draft. So our team, the starting roster would be Tyrod at quarterback, Odell, Doug Baldwin at 1 and 2 for wide receivers, Crowell, go away, Crowell and Bly Powell or Eddie Lacy, I guess depending on the matchup. Probably Powell, though, at the 2. Then, depending on matchup, Golden Tate, Stephon Diggs, and Garcon would be the flex. We've got Hunter Henry, although if I look back, and this is why we do mock drafts, if I had to do this draft over, I would have taken Kyle Rudolph in the 8th round. So that's something I'm going to think about when I make these premium tight end rankings. I think I'm going to move Rudolph and where is he? Rudolph and Walker. I think I'm going to move them into 8th round value because I would have. That's fine. I don't know what I have them at yet. It's not this. It's not that. Okay, I don't have it up. But I'm going to move them into the 8th round because I can find a wide receiver a little bit later. But Garcon was just such a value in the 8th round. Like, that's a good pick. 8th round for Garcon. But I know I could have gotten Tyrell. And I don't think Garcon would have fallen. But really like Rudolph. Again, watch the tight end video. I really like Rudolph. Got a super soft schedule. He's going to be used a ton. Really like him. But that is the end of this video. Hope you guys like the team. We got a solid bench. Got some upside at the running back position that maybe in preseason one of these guys hits. We've got some really good wide receivers. We're solid at tight end and quarterback, yeah. But again, I stream quarterback typically speaking. I don't think you need to stream Tyrod, but I think if he busts, I'm perfectly fine streaming it. Fine streaming tight end. I always stream defense and kicker. And honestly, you can grab any kicker in the last round. He's going to be fine. You don't even have to stream him. But I always stream defense because it's just so easy to stream. That's the end of this video. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button. If you're new here, subscribe. We got 5 videos a week. That's the end of this one, and thanks for watching.